continue our discussion on marketing channels and the distribution function, we're going to look at in this segment the channel design. How do we decide how many channel members we should have, what kind they should be, etc. While we can't come up with specific recommendations, here's a formula and you do this and you should come up with this many, we're going through the things you should look at, the things you should consider in choosing your channel members. So let's go ahead and begin with probably one of the most basic elements of channel design, and that is our target market coverage. What we mean by target market coverage is how many outlets do we have in a given area to satisfy our target market. To go down this list here, if we have exclusive coverage, also called exclusive distribution, it means we are going to have one outlet, one seller in a geographic area. Now the size of that geographic area can vary. It may be 20, 30 mile radius, or it may be 100 mile radius. That's really not the issue. It kind of depends on your industry and the company. But the point is that you have only one place where customers can come to get your product. That's going to be an appropriate decision for you to make if you're the producer of a product with high brand loyalty. People want your brand. They're willing to put extra effort in to find your brand, to get it. A couple of examples, Florsheim shoes, men's shoes. Florsheim is very well known for their quality. They have a wonderful image, but they are pricey. Okay, they're not cheap. And you usually have, I would guess, a 30-mile radius where you will not find a Florsheim dealer within another 30-mile radius. I may be wrong on the mileage there. The point is, men are willing to travel more to buy those shoes. Why? They're going to last longer. They're an investment. Think about a Steinway piano, a Jaguar car. You're usually willing to put more effort into the search to find those particular brands. So exclusive coverage would be best in those cases. Our second choice is selective coverage or selective distribution. And here's a real technical term. In this case, we have a few outlets in a geographical area. Okay, a few. We're going to be a little picky on who sells our product. We want to make sure we're selling it in places that match our image, that can support our objectives. Okay, so we'll look at them to see what kind of support services they offer, what other products they carry. The products that do best with a selective coverage strategy are ones that we call shopping goods, if you remember that term. People want to do some comparison shopping. They may have some brand preferences, but they want to look at other options too. Think about the clothes you find in a department store, and this would be a good example. You're going to find those brands and those clothing in a number of places. Not everywhere, but in some different department stores and different malls. But there's a certain image attached with each of those stores. And so that's what we're looking for. Does this store match the image we want to project with our product? The final choice in target market coverage is intensive distribution or intensive coverage. This simply means we're going to get the product everywhere we can. This is going to be vital if we have staple type products, convenience goods, emergency goods, things that people are going to buy it if it's right there in front of them, but they're not going to put any effort into it. Think about candy bars, batteries, Band-Aids, Kleenexes. If the product's not there, they'll buy something else. So with intensive coverage, we're going to put it everywhere we can. We are going to do a little selection because we want to make sure we're dealing with a reputable company and one that's going to be able to pay their invoices, etc. But basically, everywhere we can go. Okay, so target market coverage gives us an idea of how many channel members we'll need. We're also going to want to look at the buyer's requirements. In other words, when the target market buys this product, what else do they need to go with it? Do they need training? Do they need installation, delivery, gift wrapping, shipping? These are all things that we call buyer's requirements, and this will help us choose which channel members we want, which particular outlets or stores are going to be able to provide those services that we need to go along with our product in order to satisfy the buyer. The customer themselves kind of give us an idea of how many channel members we need as well. We referred to this in the last segment. If we have a business customer we're going after, we're in a B2B, we're going to have fewer channel members. Our channel is going to be shorter, more direct, because businesses want to deal more directly with the producer because of the higher quantity they're buying, the larger amount of money they're investing in this product, and the high services that they demand. Consumers are spread out all over the place. We have this large number that buy very small quantities. So that tends to say we're going to have a lot of channel members, longer channel. The product itself will also indicate whether it should be a short channel or a long channel. A short channel is going to be best for products that are highly technical, that are very expensive, or that are perishable. You know, can you imagine putting milk through a long channel? It's not going to happen. You need to get it to the seller as soon as possible. The products that do well with a long channel are products that have a steady demand, they are pretty standard, and they're going to last for a long time. They have a long shelf life. An example of this would be a deck of cards. There's always a demand for cards. It's not going to change. The cards aren't going to go bad during the distribution process. We can just put it through on a longer channel, which will reduce our cost. When we start picking particular channel members, we want to do a SWOT analysis. Okay, we want to make sure that we complement each other, that we get a synergy effect. Our strengths are going to compensate for our intermediaries' weaknesses, and vice versa. Their strengths will compensate for our weaknesses. So again, we're looking for that synergy. And then finally, profitability. Not just profitability for us, but profitability for all the channel members. Everybody in the channel needs to meet their profit requirements. Okay, the next topic we're going to look at are a special type of channel. And this channel is called vertical marketing systems, or what we refer to as VMSs. And vertical marketing systems are kind of a unique type of channel because the channel members are all linked together in one way or another. And there's three ways this can happen. The first type of VMS is a corporate VMS. And this means that there is some kind of shared ownership. For example, the channel members might be owned by the same parent company, or one channel member may own the other. That's what we mean by shared ownership. The money eventually goes to the same pot, so to speak. Many times this involves vertical integration, and that is when one channel member purchases another. For example, a retailer may purchase one of their suppliers, or a producer may decide they want to go into retailing, and so they purchase a retailer. That's vertical integration. The second type of VMS is administered. An administered VMS has informal agreements linking the channel members together. They understand that the best way to hit their profit objectives and to satisfy the ultimate customer is to work together. Instead of each having their own objective and working independently, we want to integrate our decision making and our planning and our forecasting. However, there's no contract linking them together to do this. It's an informal agreement. So it means a lot of cooperation, a lot of communication, a lot of sharing of information, which is not something companies like to do naturally. The final type of VMS is a contractual VMS. It's just like the administered, except now we have a formal contract that's linking us together. It's a long-term contract. The most common type of this is a franchise agreement. Now, when you have various organizations working together and they have different objectives, different goals, there's bound to be conflict. One way that conflict arises and sometimes is addressed is when you see one channel member has more power than another. And power can come from a number of different sources and can come from more than one. Let's give some examples here. Economic power means a channel member has the ability to generate a lot of sales for the other channel members involved. An example of this would be a lot of the mass merchandisers, Walmart in particular. They can generate a large amount of sales for any company that gets their product in a Walmart store. Expertise is when they have some specialized knowledge. There is a wholesaler called American Hospital Supply who specializes in dealing with producers, small producers of hospital supplies. American Hospital Supply goes around to different hospitals, sells the product, talks to them. They find out what's going on in the industry and with the target market, and they share that information with their producers. That's a type of expertise power. Legitimate power means that we have a contract giving us authority, giving us the decision-making, again, authority in specific cases. Coercion is when you have the ability to punish a channel member if they don't go along with what you want them to do. I don't want to name specific companies because I'd put myself up for a lawsuit if I did that, but you read through the paper and you can find some examples of this, at least accusations of this going on, where one channel member possibly is so large that they threaten, you do it my way or you're out. And what they're asking you to do is not right. That's coercion, and unfortunately it goes on. Reverent power is when you have power because of your name, because of your image, your reputation. Bloomingdale's is an example of this. A lot of manufacturers want to get their products in Bloomingdale's because of that image, that name, that recognition. Okay, so that gives them some power as well. Reward is the last basis of power we'll look at. Reward is when we're able to give the channel members something that they couldn't get on their own. There may be some overlap, for example, with the economic power, where we're giving them access to sales they normally wouldn't get. But it may also be access to target market. Maybe by doing business with certain channel members, we're able to reach people we normally would not be able to do so. Now, as I said, you can have more than one basis of power. The more basis of power an organization has, obviously the more power it's going to have. It's going to dominate that channel. And that is a big issue, and again, it can bring up a lot of conflict within a channel. Let's summarize what we've been talking about here today. Channel management strives to achieve a synergy effect with the other organizations in the chain. We really want to get that synergy. We want to do better together than we could do individually. That's the whole point of working together. Otherwise, we might as well do all the functions ourselves. The second point, different objectives and basis of power can cause conflict. I could probably say will cause conflict. Some conflict is normal, even beneficial. By that I mean if there is a little conflict, some conflict, people re-examine what they're doing, and it usually increases productivity to a degree. However, too much conflict is detrimental to all organizations involved and usually to the end user as well. The end user, the consumer, is the one who gets punished by no longer having access to the products they want, having higher prices, etc. That is it for today. Next time we're going to take a look at logistics. Have a good day.